The Nikkei that's under some pressure. That's down 0.3%.
There's a weekly options expiry today, though, and tomorrow is off.
We've given to understand that a likely replacement could come in the form of an investment fund rather than a new airline.
We start at about 11,540. That's about 6 points higher. Sensex starts 38 higher.
Inventory for some is actually, I think, in triple digits, 100 days or more.
12 points on the Nifty, 11,544 is where we're at.
The rights issue of 25,000 crore rupees has been approved. The price is at 12.5 rupees.
Naresh Goyal is in Dubai. He is meeting potential investors there, and recently he's also met the CEO of Qatar Airways.
SEBI has given an approval to the company to go ahead, exceed the 75% shareholding norm for the promoters of Vodafone Idea if there is not enough minority shareholders' participation.
The market's absolutely quiet. I mean, the only thing which has moved is the mid-cap index.
Okay, well, weekly options expiry day. So far, it's panned out just like we thought in the morning, mostly about option premiums being eaten. And that's what's happened. The Nifty is up 1 point. The Bank Nifty has made a move, though, back to all-time highs. Let's see what's in store for last hour. This is Closing Bell. I'm Anuj, and with me is Surabhi. Hi, Surabhi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Anuj. Yes, I was looking at Kotak Mahindra Bank, actually. That's the one that's really just now, moving to the upside of the screen. It's still less than 0.5% gain, but one of those private bank stocks that have done well. HDFC Bank is the other one that's really worked in favor of the Bank Nifty, but ICICI Bank is on the other side. Anyway, Anuj, today does seem to be that pause day, right? Because the last couple of sessions, when we spoke about a pause, the last hour just turned everything around. Today, how do you look at the consolidation so far?
I think, Surabhi, since morning, one thing which was very clear was that a lot of options were being written on the Nifty, not so much on the Bank Nifty today. The Nifty, 11,550 call and 11,500 put, a massive amount of volume, massive amount of open interest build-up, which was there. And now both the calls and puts are almost, written down. The Bank Nifty had no such problem, and that's how, you had a bit of a surge in the Bank Nifty. Now, normally, last weekly options expiry as well, I remember, you didn't move at all on the weekly options expiry day, but next day you had a move. Now, today you have the Fed outcome as well. Yeah. Anecdotally, you go into the Fed events with long positions. And in a market like this, you really want to go into Fed event with long positions because there's so much, money inflow into our markets. And it's unlikely that Fed is going to do anything which is going to sort of disrupt that. So with that as a background, the only problem is we don't have a trade tomorrow. I mean, if we were trading tomorrow, my sense is it would have been very, obvious trade to sort of buy the dip or consolidation. It might still be, but, you come back with 1 day more, risk, and then on Friday you take it from there. But the way HDFC Bank and Kotak have once again started to move, HDFC Limited as well. Yes. The market's message is very clear. You have to stop being cute in this market and looking for more ideas. Ideas are the same ideas. The same HDFC twins, the same Kotak. You'll have to chase these stocks. These stocks will give you dips. You'll have to buy them. These stocks will give you consolidation. You'll have to buy them. If you're a trader, these are the this is a set of 4 or 5 stocks that you have to really be focused on. And forget about everything else in this market because that's where the money is chasing. The money is chasing these stocks. Even ICICI Bank from the low point actually has seen quite a bit of recovery. If you see ICICI Bank's intraday chart, that's actually inching up. So that's the whole point. This is a set of 5 or 6 stocks and you have to chase them. That's the market's message. So you want to take it or not, it's up to you.
Absolutely. There is some underperformance in the mid-cap arena. Let's see if there's going to be a change in that or not, but it is time to get started. Here's what is lined up on Closing Bell this afternoon. The market has managed to recover slightly from the lows of the day. It's trading flat for the moment. Infosys and HDFC Twins provide key support for the Nifty. ICICI Bank and ONGC are the key drags. The mid-cap index underperforms its peers. Jet Airways under pressure. Sources tell us that banks are likely to be working on replacing Etihad with a new investor. We'll be discussing a lot of these stocks and these trends with the fundamental experts, SP Tulsian of sptulsian.com joining in, Mehrabun Irani of Ginny Gems Consultants, as well as Abhimanyu Sofar of IIFL. Now, the recent market rally seems to be taking a bit of a pause. What should you be doing at these levels? Is it still a good idea to go out and buy? What should the buyers be, large caps or mid caps? Anand Shah of BNP Paribas Mutual Fund joins in. He's our alpha manager of the day. And of course, along with that, we'll get you last hour trading ideas. As always, we have Prakash Gaba and Mitesh Thakkar on the show.
Okay, how should you position yourself then in this last hour of trade? We have Prakash and Mitesh joining us. Good afternoon. Mitesh, bit of a move in the bank Nifty. The Nifty is still consolidating. Your thoughts on how to approach the last hour and what would be your stock calls?
Good afternoon. So, Anuj, I think, broadly, we're waiting for stocks to give breakouts or reversals. I think a couple of names are doing that. I'm waiting for HDFC Limited, if you've been observing the price movement over there, which is, of course, a Nifty heavyweight as well, and the constituent in the financial index. I think that's giving signs of breakout about 2010-12 levels. So, I think trade stocks, I think the markets are clearly very stretched, extremely overbought on the intraday charts. In fact, I've not seen them remain overbought for quite a long time, except in a start of a bull market. So this could be one of those phases, but it's extremely overbought. I think eventually we will test the all-time highs of 11,700, 750 zones, but not the best levels to initiate a trade. So we are trading stock-specific basis, and I have buys on Indiabull Housing Finance with a stop at 710 for targets of 760, and HUL is a sell call. I think after it's now decisively breaking the 1700 mark, so sell with a stop at 1702. Look for targets of 1660.
All right, yes, Indiabull's Housing Finance has really had quite a day today. 5% up on that stock, days high. Plenty of buying coming back on at least that one counter. Prakash, good afternoon. What are your trades? What are you working with now?
I still feel market is up. Target on the upside 11,649, and Bank Nifty is in closing, perhaps going towards 30,000. And I don't think it's stopping there. It's going to 13,324. So upside is on for the next couple of days. So far, stretch. But that's always, the overbought position is always relative, not absolute. I have two stocks, I would say that. Voltas certainly looks good to me and can see a climb to around 627 zones. Stop below 606 on Voltas should be fine. And Yes Bank has seen some buying here as well. And I feel that it can climb to around 260, 65 zones. Stop below 248.
Okay, the cleanest play in the market though for last few days has been Interglobe Aviation. I've made this point ad nauseum over the last few days. Now look at just look at the chart of Interglobe Aviation. That's today's chart. At any point during the day, if you have bought here, you have made a lot of money. And this is the one part of the trade which is playing out now. There's so many problems with Jet. Now cancelling so many flights. Yeah. This is basically a business sort of potential move that you're seeing on Interglobe, because ultimately you'll have to fly, and there's obviously a shift of business from Jet, whatever remaining, to Interglobe, and that's where you're seeing this kind of move. But phenomenal the move over the last few days, and that just seems to be continuing. SP Tulsian of sptulsian.com and Mehrbun Irani, MD and CEO of Genie James Consultants, now join us. Good afternoon, Mr. Tulsian. I first wanted your thoughts on what's fueling this move in Idea, because there's this rights issue pricing and this huge dilution. Stock fell a bit, but after that, it's been a one-way rally.
See, Anuj, I think it's very interesting case, which needs a deep study, and I'll try to cover that quickly. If you really take the rights issue price at 1250, obviously that looks optically quite attractive. That yes, they is at 32 rupees present price, and the share is offered at 12.50. But people forget that I quickly go by this one, that I would call it as the pricing by the promoters out of desperation, fear and compulsion. Let me explain that in little later, but if you just first take that record date is 2nd April. 1st April is Monday, and let's not take that as an April full day. On that day you will see the price correcting X-right at 19 rupees. So obviously the fancy or the frenzy of 12.50 seen as very attractive price will see waning out on 1st April, when the share will correct to 19 rupees X-right. If I take the same 32 rupees as the price that now it is ruling, because why did that the rights is in the ratio of 2.3 rights issue for every one share held. Now why I call it as a desperation or fear pricing, that the 7,200 crore has to come from the non-promoter. About 11,000 crore will be put in by the Vodafone, about 7,200 crore or more, whatever it is, about by the AV Birla Group, and 7,200 crore will come from the public. And it is a known fact, or one can draw the conclusion that both Vodafone and Aditya Birla Group is in no mood to put an extra penny than what they are entitled to. That means they want that 7,200 crore should come from public. Now, if you take the Malaysia Axiata, is holding about 9% stake. When this Idea got merged with Vodafone, at that time they did not exercise any of their rights of board seat and all sort of things. So I don't know that what will be the fate, whether they will be really interested, because Why I tell you that today, if you say, oh, 12.50 and the share is ruling at 32, the equation will change on 1st April when you will sit on the drawing board to whether to subscribe or not, when you will see the ex-right price at 19 rupees. So at that time, the lot of steam and fancy and attraction and run and frenzy will stop for the share to subscribe the rights issue also. So I don't know the fate of the ex-IATA. And mind it that the retail investors are just holding less than 2%. I'm including HNI as well as the retail both. They are just holding 2% stake in the company. So I don't know. Maybe the desperation and fear of the promoters were right that 70-200 crore may not come. So they were in fact out of fear and out of desperation kept the pricing so low. If they would have kept the pricing at maybe at about 18 to 20, I think that would have been an ideal factor or maybe the ideal method. Just to going on the basis the way the Bharti Airtel has gone, where they've given a discount of 34% on the current price. So I think that this is let's not take that the rights issue seem to be very attractive. In fact, optically the share price is seen moving toward on the destruction path, and we have been keeping negative stance on the idea of Vodafone, and we continue to do so. Obviously, rights issue will give advantage. I'm not saying that the people, those who will be holding the shares, should not go and subscribe to the rights. I'm not seeing the share price to fall as low as 12.50, maybe in the next 2 or 3 months. But on 1st April, you will see the ex-right price at 19, and then separate calculation and separate analogy and separate analysis will start happening from that day.
Okay, fair enough. We'll keep that in mind, Mr. Tulsian. You nicely put it. It's not going to be April Fools. We'll remember that on the 1st of April. It's because of the rights. But yes, larger concerns, I mean, on a company which doesn't have pricing power in the market, which is sitting on a huge mountain of debt. Those are, of course, separate, very serious issues with Vodafone Idea. Let's also bring in Mehraboon Irani into the conversation. Mehraboon, the stock I want to toss to you right now is Indiabulls Housing Finance. Very interesting move today. Steady buying, very consistent throughout the session. And, you know, it's off about 20-25% from its one-year lows, this stock. But does it merit fresh investment at this juncture?
Honestly, no. I never recommended neither Indiabulls nor D1 Housing to any of my clients. And at most, I can say it is for people who can trade looking at the screen and deciding whether the trade there is some money to be made. So after the sharp fall and considering the fact that there is interest coming back into banking and the financial space, this beaten down stocks tend to bounce back pretty well. So if a trader is ready to take a little bit of risk despite the sharp bounce back which we are seeing from lower levels, for 52-week lows which were very much low as compared to the 52-week highs, I think even at the present level, if a trader is ready to warrant a little bit of risk here and there, he can possibly trade on the longer side, because I still feel the interest in banking and financials is going to outperform the interest in other sectors, because as and when the market has turned over the last 20 years, it is the banking and the financial space which always relatively outperforms the other sectors.
Okay, Mehraboon, good afternoon. I wanted your thoughts on oil marketing companies. We've had a one-way rally. Is it time to book profit, or you think they could rally more?
I think for a very long period of time, they remain ignored. I think there was a lot of value at lower levels, but nobody was just interested. And right now, what we have seen over the last 1 month has surprised most of us, you and me included. I think the run-up was pretty sharp. Now, was it warranted? Possibly yes, because they had become absolutely under-owned, and when momentum came into that, people realized that there is an opportunity to make money. But after the sharp run-up at the present level, I honestly don't think that one should be possibly looking at the stock afresh or now thinking, oh, I missed it, but it's never too late. So I think at the present level, I would honestly give it a pass and advise people who already bought into it over the last few days and have been fortunate enough to make some quick money. I think possibly they should come out of the counters.
Okay, by the way, the stock that Anuj spotted is putting on more weight. Interglobe Aviation, 6.5% higher. It's just marching northward. It's been an excellent session. Not just today, actually. It's been a good week for the stock. It's been a good month. We're talking gains of almost 25%. And interestingly, the oil consumption of the petroleum products consumption data that came out today for the previous month showed that ATF consumption has actually gone up. So there is demand, despite the fact that capacity has fallen for several carriers. Mr. Tulsian, what would you do with Interglobe now? It's been a very steady rally for the stock. Is there any point in thinking of a fresh buy here?
I think, Surabhi, for an established airlines like Interglobe Aviation, I don't think that you can have the best time than what they are seeing now. Crude or maybe the Brent at a reasonably very safe level of $65. you are approaching the summer season. You are seeing the grounding of the two big airlines. Maybe in fact I would say that almost more than 60% fleets going off the operations by jet, and maybe even 10-20% operational fleets going off by the SpiceJet also. And people in fact never have liked the Air India, that is just by airlines by default, not by choice. So I think that this is the best time, and I think that the company is going to enjoy the benefits of this in the Q4 as well as in Q1.
Oh, yes, I remember. So we were discussing this on the day the Boeing news had come. That's
yes.
when the more and more countries were deciding that okay, they don't want to let that fly, and that probably kept Interglobe as the only clean play. And it's been a huge run. I mean, just look at 1 month chart of the stock, and I was just looking at the 1400 call for Interglobe. It surged 400% today, and for sometimes the market gives you these kind of sort of money making opportunities. The market gave you that this whole month on Interglobe with Jet's problems, Boeing's problems, and so many problems as the only clean play, and that's been just stunning, 6% higher.